Before we get into bids for connection, one of the top skills for healthy romantic relationships, I want you to think about the last time you did something really big for your partner. Maybe it was a vacation, an anniversary dinner, flowers for no reason. But now I want you to think about, last Tuesday evening when you're doing the dishes after dinner. Did you look up when they walked into the room? Did you respond when they made a comment about the food? Did you put your phone down while you were eating? Here's what I've learned after a decade of working with couples. Relationships don't live or die based on the grand gestures. They live or die in the ordinary, forgettable moments that happen dozens of times a day. And most couples have no idea this is even happening. Now, if we've not met before, my name is Oliver, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist here in Los Angeles, and I help couples grow great relationships. Bids for connection is something so obvious I forget about it sometimes, which is ridiculous because understanding this one concept might be the most important thing you can learn about your relationship. I wish someone had explained this to me years ago because we learn algebra in high school, we learn the periodic table, but somehow no one ever sits us down and says, here is a fundamental concept that is so important for all of your human interactions and all of your relationships. What is a bid for connection? Well, it's any attempt, verbal or nonverbal, to get attention, affection, empathy, or connection from your partner. It includes the obvious ones like, I love you, or I need to talk about something important. It also includes things like, oh, look, it's sunny outside, or how about we don't cook tonight? It could be a smile across the room, making a silly face at your partner while you're brushing your teeth to see if they'll laugh. On the surface, some of these sound silly, some of them sound like logistical questions, but underneath, it's also an attempt to connect. And it could also contain more than what's on the surface. What your partner might be saying is, I've had a tough day and I need some relief and I need to feel that you love me. This is why bids are so easy to miss. They're disguised as ordinary comments. Your partner isn't necessarily announcing, I am now making a bid for connection, please respond accordingly. It's probably more likely to be a sigh or a meme that you get sent or something like, oh, wow, look at that beautiful sunrise. But underneath all of it, they're asking, are we okay? Do you still like me? Am I safe with you? These bids happen all of the time, not just with partners, with everyone, friends, family, co-workers. It's human nature. We're always subtly checking, is this relationship okay? Are you still with me? Now, the answer your partner gets based on how you respond shapes everything. This comes from John Gottman, who's one of the most respected relationship researchers out there. Gottman studied a group of newlyweds and then checked back in with them 6 years later. He wanted to know what separates the couples who are thriving from the ones who are divorced or unhappy. What they found out was that the couples who were still happy and connected turned towards each other's bids 86% of the time. The couples who had divorced or were struggling, only 33%. So the difference between a happy marriage and a failed relationship often comes down to how you respond to these bids for connection. It's not the vacations, not the jewelry. It's more likely the tiny, mundane, easy to miss moments. So we've got 3 options on how we respond to these bids. And I want you to think about which one shows up most in your relationship. The first option we have is turning towards. This is the goal. It's responding positively to the bid. And the good news is that it doesn't have to be elaborate. You need to nod, smile, or go, but with actual eye contact. Look up from your phone for a few seconds, laugh at that silly face, and respond. That's it. All you're saying in that acknowledgement is, I hear you, I see you, we're good. And underneath, when your partner gets that positive response, their nervous system relaxes, they feel safe, they can settle. When that happens, we show up as our best selves. We're more patient, more generous, more open. So those small moments create the conditions for everything else. The second option we have is turning away. This is when you ignore the bid. You're deep in your phone, or you're on Instagram, you're watching the news, and you say, without really hearing them, or perhaps you just ignore them completely. Now, doing this once isn't a disaster, but here's what happens over time if it keeps on happening. Your partner starts thinking, why do I even try? Especially if they're just met with silence. And slowly, they stop reaching out. Eventually, you just don't bother checking in with each other at all. And that's the start of the dreaded roommate phase of a relationship. It is not just distance, it's resentment too. Each missed bid plants a tiny seed, and over months and years, those seeds grow into negative perspectives of the whole relationship. Suddenly, everything your partner does gets filtered through that lens. They're not just distracted, they just don't care. They're not just busy, I am not prioritized, and the story builds. That's how people end up in that roommate phase, not because of one big betrayal, but because of thousands of tiny, small moments where your partner didn't show up. Now, the third option is turning against, and this is the most damaging. This is when your partner responds with irritation, hostility, or criticism. What now? Or, of course it's sunny, we live in LA, it's always sunny. Or, can't you see that I'm on my phone? In the moment, it might feel small or insignificant, but over time it sends a message. I don't want to connect with you. And do that enough times and your partner stops trying altogether. Why would they reach out for someone who keeps on slapping their hand away? So one way you can think about this is imagining your relationship has a bank account, an emotional bank account. And every time you turn towards a bid, you're making a small deposit. Just a few dollars. It's pocket change and it goes in and it accumulates. When you have a fight, when there's stress, when someone makes a mistake, that's a withdrawal. And the problem is withdrawals tend to feel a lot bigger than the deposits. So you actually need a lot of deposits to stay in the black. You need that cushion because when conflict hits, and it will, you're going to need something in that account to draw from. Couples who are struggling is often because their account is overdrawn. There's not enough bids saved up. There's nothing left in that account. So even small conflicts feel catastrophic because there's no goodwill to absorb that hit. This is a lot harder than it sounds because bids are subtle. They come fast and furious throughout the day. And you have to train yourself to hear them for what they are, which is, I want to connect with you right now. So this is sensitizing yourself to bids, and it's a bit of a skill that takes practice. But once you start seeing them, you can't unsee them. You'll notice how often your partner is reaching out for you and how often you might be missing it. Now, the part that I really want you to hear, because I don't want you walking away from this video feeling like you have to be perfect, is that you don't have to be perfect. Even the happiest couples in Gottman's research only turn towards each other about 86% of the time. That's a solid B+, right? So you don't even have to go for an A+. You're allowed to miss some. You're allowed to be distracted. You're allowed to be grumpy sometimes. You're allowed to be human. So the goal isn't perfection here. The goal is awareness. Start noticing, start catching yourself. And when you do miss a bid or turn against a bid, repair it. Say, hey, I'm sorry I wasn't present. Tell me again. So be kind to yourself as you learn to do this, and definitely be kind to your partner too, because neither of you were taught this stuff. You're still figuring it out, and repair is always possible. So what I see too often is couples who wait 5-10 years before they address this stuff. And by then the account is so overdrawn. There's so much resentment built up. It's a hard thing to repair. So don't wait. Start paying attention today and start putting those deposits in your emotional bank account. If you want to see where you and your partner stand when it comes to emotional connection, I created the Care and Intimacy quiz. It's totally free, takes a few minutes, and it'll show you which of the 4 pillars of relationship success are thriving and which of them might need some attention. I'll put the link below, and if I can figure it out, I'll put it up there too. All right, if this was helpful, hit subscribe. I put videos like this out every week to help you grow great relationships. And if you want to come meet me in person or see if we're a good fit for therapy, I'll put the link to schedule a consultation call below.